What's going on, lovely people? Welcome into the show. You're tuned in with Fred and Dre, and this is the Flea Flicker Show.
Hey everybody, you're tuned in to another episode of the Flea Flicker Show. We are your hosts, Fred and Dre. We drop new episodes every Wednesday and Friday in the NFL season. Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on social media at Flea Flicker Show. Dre, tell them what we got going on.
Yeah, man. So today should be a fun episode. I got a playoff preview. First of all, we're a little over halfway through the season. I figured why not throw out what I'm thinking of who's going to be in the playoffs at the end of the year as it stands. And then, maybe you can give some of yours depending on what it looks like. And then after that, of course, we got the regular weekly preview. We're going to go over every game with a fine-tooth comb. Not really. We're just going to, tell you who we think is going to win, basically. Maybe give a few details here and there. And maybe if some news happens, we'll talk about it too. But that's pretty much what we got for this episode.
Yeah, let's get after it. Your playoff predictions. There's a few teams that are clearly going to make it. There's no way that they won't unless they have an absolute collapse. A lot of it depending on the QB status. If some of those teams lose their QB, they're pretty much toast. But who do you got squeaking in? I'm most interested in the wild cards.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the AFC. I'm going to go by, I did the playoff predictor thing and picked all the games. So I have them numbered and everything. So in the AFC, I actually have Cincinnati coming back from the dead and taking the first overall spot, getting that first bye in the playoffs. I got Kansas City getting the number 2 spot. I got Jacksonville getting the 3rd seed. And I got Buffalo overtaking Miami to get the 4th seed. Even though they've been a little under par, I have them beating out Miami for that 4th seed. For the wild cards in the AFC, I got Baltimore as the 5th seed. They look pretty good. I got Miami in the 6th seed. I still think they're making the playoffs. And I got Houston sneaking in with the 7th seed in the AFC. I got the Chargers, unfortunately, missing out. They just don't look all that good, and they have kind of a tough schedule. So I got Houston beating them there. Yeah. What do you think of the AFC there? Do you want me to set up the games for you?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of those teams going in. Obviously, right now, Baltimore looks like they're going to win their division. But I do like the idea of the Bengals going on an absolute rampage for the rest of the season. I think they're only technically a game behind the Ravens right now, and
I think so.
I think going into the season, we thought they were a better team. Right now, up to this point, they hadn't been playing like it. But man, if they play the rest of the season like they played the last couple of weeks, they're a Super Bowl contender right there. I don't disagree with the fact that Miami will fall out of contention there in their own division and lose it to the Bills. The Bills have been struggling, but they do win tight games. They do beat good teams, which is something Miami hasn't done yet. Miami has 3 losses, and they can't seem to beat a good team. And to make it to the playoffs and succeed in the playoffs, that has to happen. I do like Houston getting a wild card in there and sneaking in. Would love to see CJ Stroud make some noise in the playoffs. Might be able to do what Jacksonville did last year against the Chargers, and that'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the matchups that this sets up too, because this could possibly happen in some of these matchups. So first matchup, we're talking Houston. They're heading into Kansas City in the wild card in this scenario. That's a tough game for them right there. I think Kansas City would probably take that, but I mean, who knows with Houston? By the end of the year, they could be really good. Who knows?
I mean, their defense is pretty stingy too, and I mean that could be a really good game actually.
Yeah.
Their defense is stingy. CJ Stroud looks like an elite quarterback, and it'd be really down to who would do best against a good defense, Mahomes or CJ Stroud. And I mean, obviously you're going to go Mahomes, but who knows? CJ Stroud could put himself into truly elite company there.
Fact. Then I got Miami heading to Jacksonville for a wild card matchup. I think that's a pretty dang good game too.
On paper,
you could see Miami win that. On paper, you could see Miami winning that because they're so powerful. But yeah, they've been losing to all the winning teams. So who knows? I think that's a good matchup. And then I also have Baltimore would be heading to Buffalo in this situation, which I think would be a great game too.
I think it'd be a really good game, and both teams could lose that game. In Buffalo, it depends on the elements. I mean, if the Ravens are coming into a snow field, Orchard Park there, that might be pretty tough for Lamar Jackson and company to kind of get going. But they do have a really good run game, so that they could come out. It'd be two really good defenses going against each other, though. That'd be fun.
I forgot to mention I have Pittsburgh missing the playoffs too in this scenario, which Pittsburgh's fans probably aren't going to be happy about. But
yeah, somehow they're 5-3. They haven't done a lot on the field. I mean, their point differential is -30. Any team that has a negative point differential should not be in the playoff.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I'm gonna move to the NFC though now. I got your guys, Philly, as the number 1 seed, getting that bye.
Rightfully so.
They just look like the best team in the NFC right now. So, second seed, I got Detroit taking the 2nd seed, which is pretty wild. But they look pretty good, other than the Baltimore game, of course. But then I got San Francisco beating out Seattle for the 3rd seed. I still think they're a playoff team for sure. And then I have Tampa Bay just barely scraping by New Orleans for the 4th seed there. And then the wild card teams, I got Dallas as the 5th seed. They're a little up and down, but they're more up right now, so we'll see. I got New Orleans also making the playoffs in that division as the 6th seed. And then I have Minnesota barely beating out the LA Rams for the 7th seed, just because Dobbs looked pretty good in that last game. So I think they do have a chance now. And the Rams have been kind of falling. So I got the Rams and the Seahawks missing the playoffs.
I think I like most of those. I think I would just switch if I were to do this. I think I would switch New Orleans and Tampa. I think Tampa, they've fallen a little bit out as of late, and I mean, their offense looked very good this past week against Houston, but I just still think New Orleans is a better team on a full scale basis. I think they're more well equipped, and I feel more confident with them going to the rest of the season. But it could go either way there. The division's not too good. Atlanta should fall off because Art Smith doesn't know what he's doing. They could be a decent team and squeak into the playoffs, but I don't see it happening. It should really be a 2-dog fight in the NFC South with Tampa and New Orleans.
You know what I forgot to factor in with Tampa is the random, like, really bad Baker Mayfield games. So if I factored that in, New Orleans would beat them out. So silly me.
And I think Carr has a cakewalk of a schedule for the rest of the season for like quarterback matchups. Yeah. So I mean,
Tampa's isn't too bad.
They could have a really good showing.
Yeah.
And I do think Dobbs can lead Minnesota to a wild card spot.
Yeah. Speaking of Minnesota, I'm gonna tell you some of the matchups that this sets up. Wild card round, Minnesota would be heading to Detroit. I think they might get crushed, to be honest. But I mean, it could be a good game. You never know. New Orleans would be heading to San Francisco. I think that could be another rough game. I think San Fran should win that one. And then Dallas would be heading to Tampa. Honestly, these wild card games none of them might be any good in that.
No. This might be like complete opposite of the AFC, where it's just the higher seed wins every single matchup. And it's interesting you did say that you had San Francisco winning the division. I think that could still happen too. Both Seattle and San Francisco have left a little bit to be desired so far this year. I mean, no one certainly saw San Fran to have 3 losses at this point in the season, and it's just been the quarterback play for them. Purdy's been a little bit underwhelming, but Seattle just can't seem to get everything together each game, and it's a toss-up between those teams, I think.
Yeah, and Seattle's got kind of a tough schedule too, so they'll really have to prove themselves to get into the playoffs, in my opinion.
At least San Fran
do make it,
can bank on
deserve it.
Yeah. At least San Fran can bank on their defense, if anything. And Christian McCaffrey, you can single-handedly beat a lot of teams. But yeah, I think I agree. A lot of those matchups could be pretty one-sided.
Yeah, dude. And guess what my freaking conference finals teams are? It made me laugh when I actually. Yep, 49ers and Philly, and Kansas City and Cincinnati. Literally the same exact groups from last year. I literally laughed at myself. Oh my God, that would be terrible, to be honest. But I mean, they'd be good games. So
yeah, they would be good games. Obviously Philly would win, but that's beside the point.
Obviously. Yeah. Right now I'm like very high on Cincinnati. I feel like they're like my Super Bowl favorites at the moment, but
I'm also very high on them. I saw Dave Portnoy. It's Dave Portnoy, right? Not Dan.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave he submitted like a bet. It was like 65K on the Bengals to make the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl. And then he bet like another 15K on the matchup being Eagles and Bengals. That'd be a Super Bowl I'd be very, very willing to watch. And well, I'm always
It'd
willing
be
to
a fun
watch the Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl.
but it'd be really fun.
Honestly, that's not a bad bet.
No.
And he's got the money to bet something like that. So
Yeah. I could see Detroit making it to the NFC Championship though, depending on who their matchup is.
yeah, they look pretty good. I'd be very happy if they did. I like Detroit a lot.
Yeah. See
And
Dan
their
Campbell
running
in
back
there.
tandem is very dangerous now.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, in other news though, Carson Wentz signed with the Rams. You see that?
I did. Former Philadelphia Eagle, former Washington Commander, former Indianapolis Colt. He's been around a little bit here the last couple of years, but yeah, he's now with the Rams. They immediately released Ripien after that game. Looked absolutely terrible.
Yep.
So at least Carson Wentz should be better than him. I don't have a ton of faith that he's going to be very good, but at least he has a couple good receivers to kind of target there and decent offensive line. He should be able to be okay.
Yeah, I think this smallish movement shows the difference between like good franchise management and trash franchise management.
Yeah.
Because listen, the Rams, they saw Brett Rippon, they're like, he's not going to cut it for us. And literally the next week, they got rid of him and brought in somebody to replace him in Carson Wentz, who is, struggles sometimes, but he's at least somewhat proven as a starter. And then you have the New York Jets, who are still rolling with Zach Wilson, who has had one semi-decent game this entire season. This is why the Jets are constantly not in the playoffs and why the Rams are pretty much always at least close to it. Last year was kind of fluky. They were bad, but
since being in LA, they had some pretty bad
playoffs.
years. They had some pretty bad years in St. Louis, but since being
with
in
Sean
LA,
McVay though, with like the new staff.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, we've both been over and over again with Zach Wilson. He is not a good quarterback. He shouldn't have a starting job in the NFL, let alone on a potential playoff contender and potential Super Bowl contender. If they had a good quarterback, they could be a contender right away. If they traded for Josh Dobbs could do a lot there with the Jets. And it didn't take a ton for
Vikings
the Vikings to get him. Yeah. It didn't take a ton for the Vikings to get him. So why not give that up? What was it, a 6th-round pick?
It was something low like that, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, give that up. You're getting a starting caliber quarterback who was making the Cardinals competitive. So yeah, terribly run franchise. I know they traded up and for Zach Wilson when they got him, and they just can't let it go that he's not a good quarterback and just bite the bullet and move on. I know they want to go after they brought in Rodgers, but they have kind of a hope that he's going to come back from his Achilles injury this year. But even if he comes back, how effective is he going to be? Just because he can throw doesn't mean. I mean, he's been out of football the entire season. That's a lot of reps that he's not having. If he comes back week 16, what's he going to do? Come in and be a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback going into the playoffs?
And are they even going to be in contention? Yeah, exactly. It's trash. Like they could have signed Wentz week 2. I feel like he could have been better than Zach Wilson. Like he might have made some mistakes, maybe lost some games, but shit, would have won some too.
They're not technically still out of it. And I mean, they've won some games that they probably shouldn't have won strictly because of their defense. But if they signed Wentz at any point during this time, you got to think that you can at least give them some hope.
Yeah, 100% agree. I still think they need to add a quarterback, but
Big Dick Nick,
what
baby.
are the options?
He's out there.
Hey, he's in your picture right there.
Oh yeah,
he is out there. I think he'd be better too. Joe Flacco, even like he knows the offense, right? Like I think
and he was there last year. Yeah.
But
anyway,
one last thing before we go over it. I just wanted to hit it. It is barely past the halfway point in the season, and we have now lost 4 starting quarterbacks for the season. That's terrible. Aaron Rodgers, Achilles. Anthony Richardson, done. Kirk Cousins died. He didn't die. I apologize, but he's out for the season.
Well, his team's wearing those memoriam shirts that like he did die. Like the entire team came out in the Cousins shirts there, and the guy's still alive. He's on your sideline.
Yeah, but it's freaking crazy. 4 starting quarterbacks done for the season. Hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully we don't lose any more because I do not like when anyone gets hurt in the league. But starting quarterbacks can literally destroy a season.
Yeah,
So
hopefully not. I know I was a little nervous last on Sunday when one of the Dallas defenders that was on the ground targeted Hurts' knee, and he came up limping. That was quite the scare there, because if we lose Hurts, Marcus Mariota is no Nick Foles. He's not taking us to
Mariota's
the Super Bowl. So Jalen Hurts needs to rest up, and the bye week couldn't come at any better time.
And we will get to that. Let's start the preview, though, huh? Thursday night football in Chicago. The Panthers come into town. This is a poop game. I think
this is
these
the
two
shit
teams
bowl. It's
are
this is a pretty bad game. You might see a record low in TV like watchability there. I know they're tracking it. The most watched game this year was Dallas Philly last week. This might be the least watched game this year to this point, and probably the rest of the season. Both of these teams
it's
are
a prime
really
time
bad.
game too.
Really bad teams. I know a lot of people complain about Prime Video anyway for the football games, but I mean, come on, Bryce Young versus Tyson Bagent. That doesn't strike fear into anybody. That doesn't strike anybody with the idea that they want to watch football. It might be the most unentertaining show on turf.
Yeah. Has Justin Fields been? Is he going to be out for sure for this one? Because I didn't see. I'm sure.
Pretty sure he is, and I haven't seen any news that he's been activated at this point.
Okay. If he plays, it might be a little more interesting, but yeah, I literally don't know who to pick for this one. It's just trash. I'm gonna say Bears because they're the home team. I didn't know who to pick. They're both terrible.
Yeah, they're both really bad. Honestly, like I have zero faith in Bryce Young. I'm not picking Bryce Young for any game, so I'm going Bears as well.
All right, there we go. We're both taking the Bears in the trash bowl. Let's just move to 9:30 a.m. in Germany. The Colts.
Round 2 in Germany.
The Patriots. Yeah, it could be an okay game. It's in Germany, right? Devontae Parker maybe still out, not sure. This is a winnable game for the Patriots, but I still think they're going to screw it up because they've looked really bad all year. So I'm going to take the Colts in maybe kind of a stinker game. I don't know. Maybe it'll be decent. I don't know. I'm taking the Colts.
Guten Tag, Germany. I am going with my man, Mr. Gardner Minshew. He is a baller. He is such a cool guy. I mean, what more do you want to represent the United States than the mustachioed, long-haired man of Gardner Minshew going over to Germany and beating up on the Patriots? So I'm also going with the Colts, and I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I could see it. Maybe we'll see Will Greer. I don't know. Who knows? But let's move to Baltimore, the regular timed games. The Browns coming into town. This could be a good game, honestly. They usually have pretty good matchups in this division. I still don't really trust the Browns offense. So I'm gonna pick the Ravens, but it could be a good game. It should be a really defensive game. If Deshaun Watson can play like he did in like the second half of last week, it could be a really close game. But there's also a big difference between the Ravens and the Cardinals, who they played last week. So yeah, I'm gonna say Lamar shows Deshaun Watson how to really let a defense win a game.
Yeah, I'm also just going with the Baltimore Ravens in this. They look like a Super Bowl contender at this point, and I think it's truly going to be. I think they're going to flip this script, and they're going to be the ones assaulting Deshaun Watson in this, because the Browns are absolutely the worst. Not the worst team. They're okay. Their offense is not good. They are worse than the Baltimore Ravens. Their defense is solid, but I don't think they're going to be able to do too much against the Baltimore Ravens this game. I'm taking Baltimore. They look good no matter who they face so far. They're making Kings look like peasants, and they're going to come out on top.
All right, so we're picking the same team so far. Hopefully we get some splits here soon.
There's a lot of bad
don't think it's
week, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be in this one, but it depends on what you think. Heading to Cincinnati, the Texans coming into town. They still might not have Dameon Pierce, not sure. The Texans have been really fun, especially last game with CJ Stroud. If he plays like that again, could they beat the Bengals? What do you think?
I really like CJ Stroud. I think this is a huge test for him in his career, and how he comes up against a contender like the Bengals, who are playing like a contender right now. But the Bengals are like we said, a Super Bowl contender. We both think that they're going to do phenomenal things the rest of the season. They're at home. I'm calling Cincy in this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like the Texans and Stroud are like really fun and really impressive so far, but I don't think that they can take on a very proven and very hot right now Cincinnati Bengals teams. Yeah, Bengals for sure, Cincinnati. Let's push to Jacksonville. The 49ers coming off the bye week. Will Debo play? I think so. Will Trent Williams play? Maybe. Jaguars, Zay Jones. I said Jay Zones. What? Zay Jones. Both teams have a few injuries there. But the Jaguars, they really have an opportunity against a 49ers team that's dropped 3 in a row. If the Jaguars want to prove that they're a playoff team, I think this could be a game that they do it. 49ers off the bye should be better, though, and really need to be better. And I think the 49ers are going to show up and get to work. So I'm going to take the 49ers in this one, but it could be either way. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, both teams are coming off a bye. So I think it's both teams are able to prepare. Both teams have good coaches who should be able to get their teams ready to go for this. So strictly out of recency, I mean, the 49ers, I think, are an overall better roster. They're better constructed, but out of recency, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. I'm going to call an upset. 3 in a row for the 49ers is a bad look against teams that are certainly worse than the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Purdy hasn't looked very good. He hasn't been on the same page with his receivers. Do you know if Debo's coming back in this?
I believe Debo's playing. I'm not positive, though.
Either way, even if he is playing, he hasn't looked healthy for most of the season. So in my mind, if he comes back, if Zay Jones come back, I don't think either are going to be a huge factor in this. And I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. I think he's a better quarterback than Purdy, and I think he's going to do enough to get the win.
A first split of the week. I like it. This could be the game of the week, honestly. We'll see as we go through, but this could be it.
It certainly could. Two very good teams.
Yeah, I'm realizing we didn't talk about our record from last week, by the way. I think we both went 9-5, right?
We both went 9-5 last week. You are one game ahead of me on the season.
Ooh, one game up, so this could be the deciding game. I don't know. We could tie it up. Let's move, though.
Pretty close.
Minnesota.
I just want to say, it's pretty crazy, pretty wild that we're only a game apart at this point, halfway through the season.
Halfway through the season. That is crazy. It's pretty, and we have had quite a few split weeks, too, which makes it even crazier.
Like, I'm 79-57. You are 80-56.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But let's move to Minnesota. The Saints are coming to town. And this could be a fun one. It depends on how Dobbs looks. He's looked pretty impressive so far, though. KJ Osborne has a concussion. They could be missing him for this one. And obviously they lost Cam Akers last week, but he hasn't been like super important for this team anyway. My gut is kind of telling me to roll with Josh Dobbs and this Vikings team because like of the fun story that Dobbs has turned into this year. But I don't know if I want to trust him just yet against a pretty solid Saints defense. And, the Saints should be a tougher test than who the Vikings beat last week in the Falcons. So I think I'm going to pick the Saints actually in a good game. What do you think?
Yeah, we're not splitting this one. I'm pretty on par with what you said. Josh Dobbs, I want to go with him. He's been very exciting this year. He's got the Vikings doing last week he did what people didn't think he'd be able to do, and he came right in, got them a win without knowing the playbook, without having a snap with his teammates. So it's pretty impressive. But like you said, the Saints have a very good defense. They also have a very good offense. So I think there'd be a little too much to keep up with. If he had Justin Jefferson back, sure, I would go with. I think about going with the Vikings here, but. I'm going Saints in this. I think there's too much to handle for the Minnesota defense, and I think Carr is going to perform a little bit better.
Yeah, he could be without Jefferson and Osborne, which is unfortunate, but yeah, is what it is. Let's move to Pittsburgh. We got the Packers coming into the Steelers territory, and what do you think? I know who I'm taking.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. Packers haven't looked good this year, with exception of last week against the Rams, and they played well against Rapien, who got cut immediately after the game. So I think the Steelers defense is going to be way too much for Jordan Love, who has not looked good this week or this season outside of the first 4 games. So I'm going with them. I think the receivers going to be too much for Green Bay. I think the Pittsburgh defense is going to make a few plays and maybe get a couple turnovers in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I think the Steelers D is just too much for Love to handle. And Pickett's been a pretty good game manager this year so far, so I don't see a reason for the Steelers to lose this one, honestly.
Speaking of Pickett, it sheds a bad light on him, but CJ Stroud already has more passing touchdowns than Kenny Pickett does in his career.
I saw that. That's the difference in drafting. Yeah. That's the difference in drafting a star like that can take your team to new levels, and drafting a Kenny Pickett who's like everyone knew that was a weak draft class. The Steelers jumped on Pickett. He was the hometown kid, so you can't blame him too much, but like we kind of knew he was going to be this type of quarterback, right?
Yeah. So. There was a lot of people that were huge on Kenny Pickett, and there were a lot of Eagles fans for some reason. This is before Hurts blew up, so they were saying, let's take Kenny Pickett and trade Hurts. And dude, no, he was like 26 years old when he was drafted. Like, no way.
There are no good quarterbacks to take in that one. Malik Willis hasn't done good.
It was a bad
Sam Howell, I was kind of high on. Sam Howell might be the best one in that division or that class.
Yeah.
I think, well, Brock Purdy, I suppose, right now, but even he's not like super impressive. He's just smart with the ball.
I agree.
I like Matt Corral, but he's like not even in the league. So
yeah, I agree. There's not really a lot to write home about with that draft class last year.
A little bit of a tangent. Let's move to Tampa Bay. The Titans are coming into town, and in a game that could be actually pretty fun. I wasn't sure who to pick in this one, but listen, you already know me. I have some weird infatuation with Baker Mayfield, so I'm taking the Buccaneers. But this could be a good one, and I'm interested to hear what you say about it.
Yeah, this should be a good game. I'm not taking Baker. I don't trust Baker. He has been better this year than I thought he'd be. I just don't really have faith in him to be a consistent quarterback. Will Levis looked pretty good last week against Pittsburgh, considering Pittsburgh's defense is pretty damn good.
True.
So I'm going with Tennessee in this. I'm riding the young hand. I'm taking Will Levis, who's going to go into Tampa Bay, and I'm calling 250 plus with 2 touchdowns.
Damn. Okay. I mean, CJ Stroud just went crazy on this team. Maybe Will Levis will try to show him up.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think Baker's going to let 2 rookie quarterbacks beat him in a row. Like that's like.
I mean, Baker has no decision in that. So Baker has no decision in that. He put up 30 plus points last week against Houston, and they still lost.
And it wasn't
because the defense gave up the points. So the defense gave up points last week. They've had some really bad games this year. They can have another one this week.
Supposed to be a good defense,
and the Titans do have a good defense.
True.
So I'm going with Will Levis. Yeah. The mayonnaise in his coffee, full banana eating, peel and all. Will Levis. He got back with his girlfriend, I saw on Instagram, which is cool. Don't know what you want to read into that.
She knew what she was. She knew he's starting to blow up, but yeah, it should be a fun game. I'm gonna try to watch like most of that one, I think. Let's move to the 4 p.m. games though. The first one here, kind of shit. Arizona, we got the Falcons coming down, and yeah, I don't like either of these teams. So it should be Kyler Murray comeback in this one, so that makes it a little interesting. But you do have to mention it. Call of Duty came out, so I don't know if he's going to be all there. He really likes that game. He might be a little rusty.
Playing it right now. As we speak.
He probably is.
Probably playing it.
Everyone check out Twitch. Let us know in the comments. Is he playing Call of Duty? Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that one?
I don't know about you. I don't have faith. Just like you don't have faith in either team. Kyler Murray, even if he starts, Call of Duty weekend. But he's also coming off a pretty big injury where you don't know how effective he's going to be right away. He'll probably get back to form, but you don't know how long it's going to be. And the Falcons do have a pretty decent defense, despite getting torched last week. They do have a pretty decent defense. I don't have any faith in Art Smith, but I'm going to pick the Falcons in this. I think Heineke is going to do just enough. I hope that they give Bijan a little bit more work. Please, because they can win more games if they just give him the ball. He's their best player. He's 3rd in the league in like yards after being touched, yards per carry. He's top 5 in the league. He's right up there with those guys that are upper echelon, and he's just not getting the work.
Yeah, hopefully Drake London can play too. Not sure about him. But yeah, I'm also going to take the Falcons, pretty much what you said exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't trust either team. Let's move to LA. We got the Chargers game. But they got the Lions coming into town, and the Lions look pretty dang good with what they got. We'll see if David Montgomery can come back. The Chargers, Josh Palmer just went to IR, so that's tough. The Lions kind of just look like the better team right now, and I think they're going to run all over this team in this one. And I mean, maybe Herbert can prove why he's considered a top quarterback against this team, but I don't think so. I think the Lions are going to beat them up. I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, the Chargers defense looked really good last week, but they played the Jets. They played Zach Wilson, who doesn't know how to escape pressure, doesn't know how to put points on the board. So I'm also going Detroit. I just think they're the better team in this. I think they're a contender in the NFC, and they're coming off a bye, right?
The Lions, is that what you're saying? Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, they're coming off a bye, 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I think they're going to come in. They're going to be a lot harder than the Jets for that defense to contend with, and I'm going with Detroit.
Bam, we're on the same page there. Let's move to Dallas. I don't even want to talk about this game. The Giants don't have a quarterback. Will it be Danny DeVito? Will it be Matt Barkley? Wow,
I wish
don't
it was
know.
Danny DeVito. Can you imagine Danny DeVito behind the line, just trying to throw dimes?
He might do better.
Trying to throw dimes to Waller and Robinson and Hyatt. That'd be hysterical. I would pay money to watch that.
He could just hide behind the players. They wouldn't even know where he is.
Him, yeah. Might not be a bad strategy, actually.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you some trivia for this game because we don't really have to talk about it. Listen, there's a good chance that Tommy DeVito starts his first NFL game here this week against Dallas, which is not a good time to get your first start. But how many rookie quarterbacks have started a game this year so far?
7?
Close. I'm going to give you one more guess, actually, real quick.
9?
Yes, 9. Yeah. So far, 9 rookie quarterbacks have started a game this year. Let me go over them. Bryce Young for the Panthers. Clayton Tune started a game last week for the Cardinals. Jaron Hall started a game for the Vikings last week, even though he only played like a quarter. Tyson Bagent has been starting games for the Bears. That's 4. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. That's 5. Will Levis for the Titans. 6. CJ Stroud for the Texans. 7. Anthony Richardson for the Colts is 8. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson for the Brownies is 9. Tommy DeVito would be the 10th rookie quarterback to start a game this year. That breaks the record for rookie quarterbacks to start a game in one season. That's pretty wild.
What other? I wonder what other rookie quarterbacks are out there that could potentially get some burn.
I was looking, and there was only one that really stuck out to me, and that's the Packers. Because if Jordan Love misses any time, Sean Clifford, the rookie, is his backup. Yeah, he doesn't inspire much faith out of me, but that would be 11 rookies if he starts a game, and I could definitely see that happening with Jordan Love because he takes some shots.
That's pretty wild. Some names in there that you don't want to hear, like Hall and Thompson Robinson. Guys I completely forgot about. That's who I really forgot about is in terms of who played. Because I don't really think about the Browns. And then Hall barely played last week. So it's tough. Tough times here in the NFL. Tough QB matchups. Yeah, and not in a good way.
It's crazy that many rookie quarterbacks were given a shot. That just goes to show how many like old head quarterbacks are just like leaving the league, I guess.
But you know what? I feel like a lot of it might have to do with last season. So Brock Purdy was not the initial second string quarterback. He was Mr. Irrelevant in the draft. And then he came in and he led the 49ers to the NFC Championship. So you probably have a lot of teams saying, well, we know what we're going to get with this guy, but we have this rookie behind him. Let's just see what that rookie can do. If they can't do anything, we can always go to the vet, but let's see what they can do. So
that's true.
I feel like that kind of has a lot to play with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I definitely could see that being the reason why. Just like, why not just take a peek at what we got here? Yeah,
especially
for sure.
If you suck. Like, especially if you're a terrible team.
Especially if you suck.
Yeah.
Do you
They
think
also
Tanner
have to. They
Mackey will
also
ever
have
get a
to.
shot?
They also have to look at what they have in their young quarterback going into the draft this year with a stacked quarterback class. So it's like, do you go with the young option you do have, or do you reevaluate and pick somebody in this draft? So, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of also looks in there. But what were you saying?
I was going to say Tanner Mackey, the Eagles rookie. Do you think he'd ever get a shot? I know he
Maybe
was like on pace with Marcus Mariota in the preseason for the backup job, but
maybe in like garbage time, but I don't. And I hope Hurts doesn't get hurt. Knock on wood, but yeah, because if he gets hurt, I mean, our season's pretty much toast. But unless Nick Foles comes out of retirement, but yeah, in garbage time maybe going up against a bad team, fourth quarter, throw him in, see what we can do.
yeah. Oh, and another quarterback, Stetson Bennett. He probably would. Dang, you good?
Yeah, he
He
probably would
probably
have the
would
job
have
right now.
gotten, yeah, if he didn't have his issues. Anyway, we're both taking the Cowboys. We don't got to talk about it. Let's move to Seattle. The Commanders coming into town. 12th man will be in attendance, and for that reason, and because the Commanders kind of are, I feel like they're kind of tanking, to be honest. I am taking Seattle in this one. I'm not going to rule out the Commanders because the offense has been impressive in spurts. So they could steal it. But yeah, I think the Seahawks should be better. And Kenneth Walker, I think, should be eaten in this game.
Yeah, I agree again. Seahawks should win this game. How could show up, but it's probably not going to happen in Seattle against the 12th man. He really seems to only show up against Philadelphia, but I'm going with Seattle in this. They're just a better team. They should win out easily.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move to Sunday night football in Vegas. Zach Wilson and the Jets heading into Vegas. Are they going to be betting against themselves here? I don't know. They have the better defense, I suppose. So for that reason alone, I'm going to say the Jets defense hands Zach Wilson another win wrapped in a nice golden blanket. Yeah, Jets.
Yeah, this is a tough one, actually. I mean, the Jets defense could beat up the Raiders, but it's really tough to see. The Raiders defense hasn't been terrible. It's really been one of the few bright spots for them
Max
this
Crosby.
year. And I kind of feel like they can do enough to beat up the Jets offense. So the Chargers defense hasn't really been very good this year either. And they got 30 fantasy points last week against the Jets. Like, this could be another showing for the Raiders. I'm picking the Raiders in this. I think the offense functions a little bit better with O'Connell, and they seem to be playing hard there for Pierce. So I'm taking the Raiders.
It's not bad. I think the Raiders are trash and they're going to show it here, but maybe not. Maybe not. Aaron Rodgers news. He was throwing the ball already. Did you see that?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Walking with no crutches, no boot, throwing on the field, taking steps and throwing, not just standing in one
Yeah,
place.
he might still be a ways away from actually like running, but it's very impressive that it's been less than 2 months and he's already out there. I would be like in a bed personally, probably not even walking yet. So, but I'm not Aaron Rodgers. I don't do ayahuasca on the weekends. So
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
Can you get it there?
Let's move.
I don't know.
Probably in the outskirts.
Maybe
They probably grow it all over the place. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's move to Monday Night Football. I think this is a trash game. The Broncos are heading into Buffalo. We'll see what the weather's like in Buffalo. It's starting to get colder. That'll be interesting. But yeah, there's no way the Bills fuck this up, right? Right?
Right?
Right?
Hopefully not. Probably not. I'm going with the Bills. I just don't think Denver's good. I don't think the Bills are going to let another one slip away. I think they're going to come away with a W in this. They're at home, prime time. There should be a defense that Josh Allen tears apart, although he could get kind of that hero ball mentality where he just tries to air it out 50 yards down the field every pass and throws 3 picks. But I hope that doesn't happen. I don't see it happening. I'm picking Bills.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. We're picking the Bills and hoping to God that they don't blow that. So game of the week, do you think 49ers Jags?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. Game GOT dub. I'm gonna be watching that game, baby. You took the Jags. You're wild, man. Nah, it makes sense. The Niners.
Sunshine, baby. Trevor Lawrence.
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Bye week teams. There are 4 teams on the bye. The Chiefs on the bye week. The Rams giving Stafford a break on the bye week. The Dolphins, they need to go back to the drawing board. The Eagles, your guys, Goddard's broken fucking arm. And yeah, like you said, Jalen Hurts probably needs to rest up a little bit too.
Hurts, Slay, Bradbury, Bayard needs to learn the defense. Desai has to figure out what the fuck he's doing with the corners. I don't know. There's some stuff to work on this week, and hopefully they get it done.
Hopefully. You know what team really needs a bye week? The New York Giants. I wish they had a bye week.
They need a bye
I
season.
do not want to watch them. They need, just give them the next 8 weeks off, please. Yeah. Do you got anything else though, man? I got nothing. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, I got nothing. That's a wrap on the predictions. Make sure you subscribe to the Flea Flicker Show on YouTube. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow on all social media at Flea Flicker Show. And thank you, Flea Flicker Nation, for tuning in. And until next time.
Peace. Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye.